Welcome to another episode of True Crime Case Files. In today's episode, we delve into the intriguing case of Jennifer Dean Ross, a woman caught in the midst of suspicion and mystery. Was she a mercy killer or a ruthless Black Widow? Join us as we uncover the truth behind the deaths of two men in Raleigh, North Carolina. Our story begins with the story of Robert Dean, a North Carolina real estate magnate who kept much of his life shrouded in secrecy. Robert, at 56 years old, was not your average man. He was a giant in the world of real estate, having built a fortune of $2.5 million. His life was a testament to hard work and determination, characteristics that propelled him to the top of the industry. However, behind the success and the wealth, Robert was fighting a battle far greater than any business deal, a battle for his life. Robert was diagnosed with a rare and aggressive form of stomach cancer, a disease that brought him unimaginable pain and suffering. Despite the grim prognosis, he refused to let the disease define him. He continued to work, dream, and plan for the future, hoping to cement his legacy in the real estate world. His resilience was remarkable, but the cancer was relentless, slowly consuming him from the inside. In April of 2002, the world was buzzing with news and events. In Raleigh, however, Robert's world was shrinking. His days were filled with hospital visits, treatments, and a constant battle against pain. The city that had once been the playground for his ambitions now served as the backdrop for his fight for survival. Robert's condition was a subtype of stomach cancer known as Linitis plastica, notorious for its poor prognosis and limited treatment options. The medical community was still grappling with effective treatments for this disease, leaving patients like Robert with few avenues for hope. His treatment regimen was grueling, involving chemotherapy sessions that left him exhausted and weak. Despite the adversity, Robert's spirit remained unbroken. He continued to oversee his real estate projects, albeit from his hospital bed or home office. He was determined to leave a legacy that would outlive him, a testament to his life's work. His story was a blend of triumph and tragedy, a man who built an empire only to face his greatest challenge in the twilight of his life. On a fateful day in April 2002, a tranquil neighborhood of Raleigh, North Carolina was shaken by a grim discovery. Robert Dean's lifeless body was found in his lavish home, sending shockwaves through the community. The mid-morning sun cast an eerie glow on the crime scene as his nurse, Jennifer Dean Ross, stumbled upon the horrifying sight. Jennifer, who also had married Robert just 3 weeks prior, was initially shocked and overwhelmed by the gruesome scene that unfolded before her eyes. The air was thick with tension as she frantically dialed 911, the emergency number that Americans have relied on for decades, to report the tragedy, her voice trembling with fear and disbelief. The authorities were alerted, and the clock began ticking for the investigation to unravel the truth behind this mysterious death. As news of the incident spread, the media frenzy surrounding the case intensified. Local news outlets, such as the Raleigh Gazette and Channel 8 News, were quick to report on the shocking demise of the prominent real estate magnate. Speculations ran rampant, with whispers of foul play and conspiracy echoing through the town's coffee shops and social gatherings. The Raleigh Police Department swiftly arrived at the scene, led by their renowned team of investigators known for their meticulous nature. The crime scene was meticulously examined, with every detail scrutinized for clues. Despite the shocking nature of the crime, the scene appeared surprisingly clean, as if someone had taken great care to remove any trace of their presence. The investigators focused their attention on the four-line that had been used to administer the fatal dose of propofol. With the precision of a surgeon, they carefully collected samples from the four-bag, the tubing, and the needle itself. These samples would later be sent to the state crime lab for analysis, where experts would use cutting-edge technology to determine if any fingerprints or DNA could be extracted. As the investigation unfolded, the detectives interviewed Jennifer Dean Ross, the nurse who had made the horrifying discovery. Jennifer, visibly distraught, provided a detailed account of her actions leading up to the discovery of her husband Robert's lifeless body. She explained how she had left the room briefly to fetch Robert's morning medication, only to return to find him unresponsive. The detectives noted her emotional state and the genuine concern in her voice as she recounted the events of that fateful day. In their quest for answers, the investigators delved into Robert's medical history, seeking to uncover any potential motives for foul play. They discovered that Robert had been battling a subtype of end-stage stomach cancer, a painful and debilitating illness. The investigators wondered if the motive behind the injection of propofol was an act of mercy, an attempt to alleviate Robert's suffering. As the investigation gained traction, the media caught wind of the case. Local news outlets began reporting on the mysterious death of the real estate magnate, fueling speculation and intrigue within the community. The name Jennifer Dean Ross became synonymous with suspicion as the public questioned her role in Robert's demise. The investigators, undeterred by the media frenzy, continued their search for answers. They meticulously combed through Robert's financial records, looking for any signs of financial strain or unusual transactions. They interviewed friends, family, and business associates, hoping to uncover any hidden motives or potential suspects. Jennifer Dean Ross, a 29-year-old nurse and newlywed wife, found herself at the center of a gripping murder investigation following the untimely death of her husband, Robert Dean. As the prime suspect in this perplexing case, Jennifer's motives and actions were scrutinized by the relentless investigators. Robert Dean, a prominent 56-year-old real estate magnate, had been battling a severe subtype of end-stage stomach cancer. With dreams of leaving a lasting legacy in the real estate industry, he amassed a fortune totaling $2.5 million. However, his ambitions were tragically cut short on that fateful day in April 2002. The investigators, known for their meticulous nature, uncovered a series of puzzling details surrounding Robert's death. The crime scene, despite the circumstances, appeared eerily clean. The cause of death was determined to be a lethal injection of propofol, a potent sedative administered through Robert's fore. This injection granted him a peaceful and painless passing. As the evidence piled up, it became increasingly difficult to ignore the suspicions surrounding Jennifer. Her role as Robert's nurse and newlywed wife provided her with both the means and opportunity to carry out such a heinous act. The investigators delved deeper into her motives, contemplating whether this was a mercy killing or if a more sinister motive lurked beneath the surface. During the intense police interrogations, Jennifer's responses varied from moments of anger to moments of calmness, leaving the investigators perplexed. They meticulously examined her background, searching for any clues that could shed light on her true intentions. The investigators even delved into her online presence, scouring social media platforms and online forums for any potential leads. As the investigation unfolded, the media frenzy surrounding the case intensified. News outlets across Raleigh, North Carolina, buzzed with speculation and theories. Journalists, armed with their notepads and cameras, eagerly awaited any updates on the case. The public, too, became captivated by the unfolding drama, eagerly discussing the case over coffee at local diners and water coolers. After weeks of tireless investigation, the authorities made a shocking announcement. They ruled Robert Dean's death as a suicide, leaving many bewildered and searching for answers. The decision sparked a wave of controversy, with some questioning the thoroughness of the investigation and others finding solace in the closure it provided. As the dust settled, Jennifer Dean Ross remained a figure shrouded in mystery. The events surrounding Robert's death would forever be etched in the annals of true crime history, leaving us to ponder the enigmatic motives of this young nurse. In the tranquil city of Raleigh, North Carolina, a cloud of darkness descended yet again on June 11, 2006. The untimely demise of Kenny Blackwell, a prominent and well-respected lawyer, sent shockwaves through the community. Kenny, 61, had recently received a devastating diagnosis of prostate cancer, plunging him into a world of pain and uncertainty. It was a sunny Sunday morning when Kenny's lifeless body was discovered by his housekeeper, Paulina Cuthbert, who had arrived for her weekly cleaning duties. The room, adorned with elegant furnishings and bathed in warm sunlight, now held an air of melancholy. Paulina, overcome with shock and disbelief, immediately dialed 911, desperately hoping for a miracle. Within minutes, the Raleigh Police Department was on the scene, accompanied by paramedics who fought against time to revive Kenny. Despite their valiant efforts, it became apparent that Kenny had succumbed to an overdose of pain medication. The room, with its muted tones and delicate artwork, now bore witness to a tragedy that would forever leave its mark on the city. As news of Kenny's death spread like wildfire, the community was left grappling with a myriad of questions. Was this a tragic accident, or was there something more sinister at play? Speculation ran rampant, with whispers of foul play and conspiracy floating through the air. The media, hungry for a captivating story, seized upon the opportunity to delve into the mysterious circumstances surrounding Kenny's demise. Reporters from local news outlets, such as the esteemed Raleigh Tribune, tirelessly pursued leads and interviewed those close to Kenny. Friends and colleagues spoke of his unwavering dedication to his clients and his relentless pursuit of justice. They painted a picture of a man who had built a sterling reputation over the course of his illustrious career. The investigation into Kinney's death took a complex turn as detectives meticulously combed through his personal and professional life, searching for any clues that could shed light on the tragedy. They delved into his medical records, interviewed his doctors, and scrutinized his financial transactions. Every detail, no matter how small, was examined with a discerning eye. As the days turned into weeks, the case took on a life of its own. The Raleigh community, typically known for its tranquility, found itself embroiled in a mystery that seemed to defy explanation. Theories circulated, with some suggesting a link between Kinney's death and the recent murder of Robert Dean, another prominent figure in the city. The police, however, remained tight-lipped, refusing to divulge any information that could compromise the integrity of their investigation. June of 2006 became a time of uncertainty and unease in Raleigh. The once peaceful streets now carried an air of suspicion as neighbors eyed each other with newfound wariness. The media frenzy surrounding Kinney's death only intensified, with newspapers and television stations vying for the latest scoop. The city, known for its southern charm and hospitality, found itself thrust into the national spotlight, its name forever tied to a series of tragic events. The investigation took a dramatic turn when the spotlight shifted to Jordan Blackwell, the 18-year-old son of the deceased Kinney Blackwell. Jordan, who had a troubled past marked by drug addiction, quickly became the focal point of the case. With a potential motive to inherit a substantial fortune of $1.4 million, the police had reason to suspect his involvement. The interrogation of Jordan was a tense affair, with investigators carefully observing his emotional fluctuations throughout the process. His responses ranged from anger to moments of calmness, with a hint of desperation lingering in the air. The police knew they had to tread carefully as they delved into the depths of Jordan's troubled life. As the investigation progressed, the police uncovered a series of intriguing details that added to the mystery surrounding Jordan. They discovered that he had been in contact with a notorious drug dealer named Tony the Snake Martinez, a well-known figure in the Raleigh area during that time. Tony, who had a reputation for being involved in illicit activities, became a person of interest in the case. Further examination of Jordan's phone records revealed multiple calls and text messages exchanged between him and Tony in the days leading up to Kinney's death. The police traced the location of these communications to a seedy motel on the outskirts of Raleigh, known for its association with drug trafficking. This discovery raised suspicions about the nature of their relationship and the possible involvement of drugs in Kinney's demise. In addition to the phone records, the police obtained surveillance footage from a nearby convenience store, capturing Jordan purchasing a bottle of prescription pain pills just days before Kinney's death. The footage showed him nervously glancing around, as if aware of the potential consequences of his actions. This evidence further fueled the investigators' belief that Jordan had a direct role in the tragedy. As the investigation unfolded, the media caught wind of the sensational case, and headlines began to dominate the news cycle in June of 2006. Local newspapers such as the Raleigh Observer and the North Carolina Gazette dedicated articles to the ongoing investigation, captivating the attention of the community. Television news outlets, including WRAL-TV and WNCN, aired reports delving into the details of the case, sparking widespread interest and speculation. With each passing day, the web of suspicion around Jordan continued to tighten. The police meticulously gathered evidence, leaving no stone unturned in their quest for the truth. As they pieced together the puzzle, the case took on a life of its own, leaving everyone wondering, was Jordan Blackwell a troubled teenager caught in a web of circumstances, or was he a cold-blooded killer driven by greed? As the investigation into the deaths of Robert Dean and Kinney Blackwell progressed, the truth slowly began to unravel, revealing a web of deceit and betrayal. Jennifer Dean Ross, who had married both men, emerged as the prime suspect in these two cases of alleged murder. Through meticulous detective work, the police pieced together the puzzle, uncovering Jennifer's motives and actions. It became apparent that she had a twofold plan: to end the suffering of her terminally ill husbands and to inherit their substantial fortunes. In the case of Robert Dean, a secretive real estate magnate battling stomach cancer, Jennifer had administered a lethal dose of propofol, a powerful sedative. The investigators discovered that she had carefully planned the injection, ensuring a peaceful and painless passing for her husband. The crime scene, surprisingly clean, offered little evidence initially, but the investigators' relentless pursuit of the truth led them to Jennifer. Moving forward to June 11, 2006, the death of Kinney Blackwell, a well-respected wealthy lawyer, added another layer of suspicion. Kenny had recently been diagnosed with prostate cancer and was struggling with the pain. The investigators found that Jennifer had orchestrated his demise by providing him with an overdose of pain pills, causing his untimely death. The police meticulously gathered evidence, examining prescription records and interviewing witnesses to build a strong case against Jennifer. Throughout the investigation, the police observed Jennifer's emotional fluctuations during the interrogations. From moments of anger to calmness, and even a hint of desperation, her responses painted a complex picture of a woman driven by greed and a desire to control the fortunes of her husbands. The arrest of Jennifer Dean Ross sent shockwaves through the Raleigh community, capturing the attention of local media outlets. Newspaper articles and blog posts blared the news of the alleged Black Widow, a woman accused of preying on terminally ill men for financial gain. The victims' families, who had experienced a mix of relief and anguish upon learning the truth, now faced the daunting task of healing from the betrayal they endured. In the aftermath of these shocking events, the Raleigh community rallied together, offering support and solace to the grieving families. The case of Jennifer Dean Ross served as a stark reminder of the dark side of human nature and the lengths some individuals would go to satisfy their own desires. The trial of Jennifer Dean Ross, the woman accused of being a mercy killer and a ruthless Black Widow, captivated true crime aficionados as it unfolded in the late summer of 2006. The courtroom was filled with anticipation as the prosecution and defense presented their cases, each side determined to prove their point. Prosecutor Ralph Johnston, known for his tenacity and dedication to justice, meticulously laid out the evidence against Jennifer. He argued that she had administered lethal doses of drugs to both Robert Dean and Kenny Blackwell, her terminally ill husbands, in order to end their suffering and inherit their substantial fortunes. Johnston presented medical records, witness testimonies, and expert opinions to support his claims. The prosecution painted a picture of a woman driven by greed and a desire for financial gain. On the other side of the courtroom, defense attorney Lena Harbrow fiercely defended her client's interests. Harbrow argued that Jennifer was a compassionate caregiver who had made the difficult choice to alleviate the pain of her terminally ill spouses. She highlighted Jennifer's devotion to her husbands, pointing out the love and care she had provided during their final days. Harbrow called upon character witnesses and medical experts to support her argument, aiming to create doubt in the minds of the jurors. Throughout the trial, emotions ran high as the families of the victims watched the proceedings, seeking closure and justice. They listened intently to the testimonies, hoping for answers to the questions that had haunted them for years. The media, too, closely followed the trial, with reporters from major news outlets providing daily updates on the courtroom drama. After weeks of intense arguments and deliberations, the jury reached a verdict. Jennifer Dean Ross was found guilty of manslaughter. However, the judge, taking into consideration the circumstances and the belief that Jennifer's actions were driven by mercy, decided on a controversial sentence. Jennifer would serve only 4 months in prison. The verdict and lenient sentence sparked debates. Some praised the judge's decision, arguing that Jennifer had acted out of compassion for her suffering husbands. Others, however, expressed outrage, believing that justice had not been served. The victims' friends and family were left grappling with conflicting emotions, torn between the desire for closure and the feeling that the punishment did not fit the crime. In the end, the trial of Jennifer Dean Ross left a lasting impact on the community and ignited discussions about the boundaries of mercy and justice. It served as a reminder that the legal system is not always black and white, and that the pursuit of truth can sometimes lead to controversial outcomes. Following the conclusion of the highly publicized trial, the individuals involved in this gripping true crime case embarked on their own paths of healing and moving forward. Jennifer Dean Ross, forever marked as a convicted killer, faced the harsh consequences of her actions. The families of the victims, still reeling from the shocking revelations, grappled with the aftermath, seeking solace and closure amidst the media frenzy that surrounded the case. Jennifer Dean Ross, once a respected nurse and wife, now found herself confined within the walls of a correctional facility. Serving her sentence for manslaughter, she was left to contemplate the consequences of her choices. The media, ever vigilant in their coverage of high-profile cases, closely followed her journey. News outlets such as the Raleigh Observer and WRAL-TV provided updates, examining the trial and its aftermath. Meanwhile, the families of Robert Dean and Kenny Blackwell, the victims of Jennifer's calculated actions, continued to grieve and seek justice. Friends and loved ones gathered in support, attending memorial services and sharing fond memories of the departed. The pain of their loss was magnified by the shocking revelations that unfolded during the trial. The victims' families found solace in each other's company, forming a tight-knit support network to navigate the difficult road ahead. In the wider community of Raleigh, North Carolina, where these tragic events took place, the case left a lasting impact. Residents were left questioning the trust they had placed in those close to them, and the sense of security within their own homes was shaken. The local police department, praised for their meticulous detective work, reassured the community of their commitment to protecting and serving. As the media frenzy subsided, the city of Raleigh slowly returned to its normal rhythm. Life moved on, but the scars left by this true crime case remained. The police, having successfully solved the mystery, continued their tireless efforts in safeguarding the community, their dedication unwavering. As we conclude this episode of True Crime Case Files, we reflect on the chilling tale of Jennifer Dean Ross, the woman who posed as a caregiver but ultimately became a murderer. The question remains, was she a mercy killer driven by compassion, or a ruthless black widow motivated by greed? The lines between right and wrong blur, leaving us to ponder the complexities of human nature and the pursuit of justice. Hey, true crime case solvers, interested in more real-life murder mysteries? Be sure to like and subscribe to our channel. And do you have any thoughts about this case or have a case of your own you'd like us to investigate? Leave us a comment. Until then, stay safe, true crime case solvers.